BrianTheBlue, and welcome back to Current Calamities, where I take a break from the past to look forward to the future with the games of the present.
Well, Cuphead and his pal Mugman, they like to roll the dice. By chance they came upon a devil's game, and gosh, they paid the price. Paid the price. And now they're fighting for their lives on a mission fraught with dread. And if they proceed but don't succeed, well, the devil will take their heads. Cuphead, Don't Deal with the Devil. The smash hit Run and Gun finally made its way to the Switch along with its new bonus content, the delicious last course.
I remember when this first came out back in 2017 and seeing my favorite YouTubers break controllers over how difficult this game was. But I had to wait patiently to play it myself because it was exclusive to the Xbox One for a while, and I didn't have an Xbox. I did play it briefly in an arcade someone made for the game, and it did come to the Switch in 2019, but I waited patiently for a physical release as I had a feeling a game like this would deserve such. And that is exactly what I Am 8-Bit delivered.
Yes, I got the Cuphead Collector's Edition in the mail recently from the fine folks that gave a few other great games a physical release, a couple of which I've looked at previously.
But they went all out for Cuphead, and we're gonna look inside and see what the game came with before diving back into the 1930s cartoon world created by Studio MDHR.
Let me just point out that the box for this collector's edition is huge. Not as big as my Sonic Mania collector's edition in terms of depth and height, but larger than most box sets I have. The reason shall become obvious once we break the seal open and look at what's inside. All games deserve to be played, not sealed or gatekept. Opening the front end, we have a few things fall into our lap, but I take a moment to read the message from the developers themselves telling me what I can expect within, some of which has actually already fallen out before me. We have a colorful and highly detailed map of the game's setting in Inkwell Isle, an outer sleeve with a goldish finish that reminds me of an old-fashioned candy bar, and this card with a QR code around it. Scanning it shows me a video on how to unpack a certain something that is in this box within a box, but they neglected to tell about this music box hiding away behind it.
If I didn't know any better, I think we'd be getting into bendy territory.
Back to the box. The insides remind me of the major award from A Christmas Story, you know the one, but what's in here really deserves that title tenfold. Let me introduce you to the Cuphead Marionette, the heart and soul of this collector's edition. He was kind of a piece of work to get untangled. The video showed his controller bar to be organized in a way for easy untangling, but mine came all sorts of twisted and intertwined that I struggled figuring out how to get it right for a few minutes. When I did, the video directed me to hang Cuphead up and insert this piece in the strings. By securing them in these Velcro tabs, you're able to slide him in on his makeshift stage and have him on display.
The star of the show. Now let's try his game.
More shrink wrap needs to come off, and this is a very nice standard box, by the way. Lots of detail, and opening it up reveals more hidden goodies. I was wondering where my old-fashioned membership card was, and these additional cards with some funnies.
But I assure you, when we play this game, there will be nothing to laugh about.
Even if I know exactly what's about to come, I still can't help but get excited being transported into this cartoon style of old. The brothers Cup and Mug have really done themselves in after Cuphead couldn't handle his gambling addiction and made a deal with the devil to become soul collectors to save their bottoms. I already love this aesthetic. The art style just screams the 30s, not to mention the use of a storybook opening.
Oh dude, I remember this tutorial where that one gaming journalist couldn't get past that jump for what felt like an eternity. Now the real question is, can I get past it? I reached gamer status!
And after getting some advice from Elder Kettle, I'm off to find some trouble as it always seems to find me. If you're one of the few that have never played Cuphead yet, the best way to describe it is a classic run and gun akin to Contra or Metal Slug, the big difference being 10% of the game is filled with the side-scrolling fodder you'd usually see with those games, while the rest is filled with what some might say are the most difficult bosses they've ever encountered.
Wimps.
I've seen many of my favorite YouTubers struggle over some of these levels, and I'll no doubt have some difficulties myself because this shit ain't easy, but some of the things to know is that you can purchase different weaponry and items to help you out on your quest, which you can customize outside the levels, and within the levels you have a parry ability to build up for special moves.
Even with all this info, newbies will probably be taken aback with how hard a seemingly innocent looking game like this could be so. But after watching it for 6 years, you learn a thing or two along the way.
I don't know if it's surprising or anything to really brag about these days, but I didn't have much trouble with the initial levels, at least not as much as others when this was new. I fought the Root Pack and Botanic Panic a couple of times just to get used to how everything works, and from there it seemed like smooth sailing on Inkwell Isle. I even discovered that the game has achievements built in when I scored a perfect run against Goopy Legrand.
Switchachievements, they exist. Just gotta find the right game.
The only one I really struggled on was against Hilda Berg, as that Zeppelin had a lot of phases and other shit flying at you from all corners of the sky. Oh, did I mention there's flying stages?
This game has it all. No wonder it took 7 years to release originally. That and going the traditional hand-drawn route must have played a part. Oh my god, this flower guy. I remember him being a pain in everybody's ass.
Here's a real high-class bout. Here goes.
I beat him on the first try. And thank God too, cause that face is the stuff of nightmares.
After beating the 5 debtors in this area, you show the proof to King Dice over here and you can move on to the next part of the isle. From there I took on a couple more debtors who still weren't entirely too difficult. I mean, they do get harder, no doubt, I'm not able to perfect them, but I don't get annoyed to the point where I want to rage quit. I actually had trouble on one of the regular stages before I decided to call it for today on the main story.
I'm really happy with how everything's turning out. I'm playing good and I love the gameplay, but we're not done yet. We have the game's DLC to look at, and it's appropriately named the Delicious Last Course.
This downloadable content, like the main game, took a long while to release, 5 years after the initial game. It's only a year old as of this video, so it's still relatively new. So that means I could probably get engrossed in the proper Cuphead experience. This serves as an epilogue of sorts, as Ms. Chalice, who you originally rescued in the mausoleum stages where you parry ghosts away, has found a way to live again, which requires one of the brothers to swap with her in the astral plane by way of eating a cookie. Unfortunately, it's only temporary, but our new friend Chef Saltbaker has a new recipe that can change her back for good, but it requires some key ingredients that we have to find.
Which is easier said than done, for we have a brand new batch of baddies to fight, and would you believe I got a little salté?
I first went against the Moonshine Mob in Bootlegger Boogie, and with me not spending enough time studying the new levels through my favorite YouTubers, I pretty much got my butt handed. It may have not helped that I had to get used to a different character, as Miss Chalice had a little different moveset when it comes to parrying.
It definitely isn't me. I blame her. That's of the era behavior. I can get away with that, right?
The Moonshine mob is done in phases like a few others you'll face. First we have the spider, which was easier to get through so long as you avoided all the bombs and other obstacles. What usually tripped me up was this dancing bee and her deadly gramophobic rays. You would think it'd be easy to avoid, and it was, but trying to avoid everything else that could get in your way is another story, and it really pissed me off when the game registers a hit when I put my baby toe on the red waves. And even when I get past her, I have yet to figure out what to do with the anteater, and before you can figure anything out, you die a quick death and have to start all over again.
That's the secret to the success and the rage-inducing nature of this game. And it may piss me off at the moment, but I just gotta figure out the patterns, and I'm getting close here. But I'm not going to right now. I've tried too many times already and I'm getting real frustrated. So I decided to move on to something else. Ooh, I see a ladder.
That ladder led up to a floating palace where this here king challenges us to take on his champions. What these stages consist of are solely parry challenges, completely different to those found in the mausoleums. I for one like this change of pace. It's good practice for avoiding obstacles in order to get those life-saving pink targets. Of course some are harder than others, but that comes with the territory, and to the victor comes the spoilers in the form of some cold hard coins to get some more items. Will it help me against this next boss? I have no idea, but for some shits and giggles I put my camera up to record what I assume will be my growing pain and suffering when playing. I think I better stop everything here before I blow a gasket or my proverbial lid off my Cuphead. I just need to get more practice or watch hours into the delicious last course, and maybe eventually it'll come just as natural as the original game has to me so far. Perhaps I just need to change my tune. Quite literally. I also got these vinyl soundtracks of the game when I got the collector's edition. Maybe just listening to the soundtracks the best way possible will get me where I want to be.
So with all that being said, what's my overall opinion?
I have waited long for this day to play one of the best and beautiful pieces of art to come to the video game scene in recent memory. And it was well worth the wait, especially when I got so much more out of it. Cuphead as a game is everything I expected and then some. The main game and DLC are great fun, some parts frustrating definitely, but you can't let that get in the way of a game as expertly crafted and made with a labor of love such as this. Just gotta find the patterns and get good, bruh. The entire collection I got from IM8-Bit is amazing, with all the little trinkets and era-perfect pieces. They're a great touch. The marionette of the title character is the cherry on top. Now I should try to see if I can mimic his voice from the Netflix series, then I can have my own little Cuphead show for my family. If you haven't played this game yet, you are doing yourself a disservice. Whether physically or digitally, this is one of those timeless games that you're going to play sooner or later. And hey, if you can't afford to get the collector's edition, there is a limited edition that came out recently that comes with a Miss Chalice fall down toy. I don't need to buy the game again, but I wonder if I could get that toy separately. So what do you think? Do you agree with me, or have your own thoughts? Let me know by leaving a comment. If you like what you see, like the video with those thumbs up. If you think anyone else would like this vid, share it around. And if you want to see more of me, this show, and others, hit the subscribe button. I'm BrianTheBlue, thanks for watching. I'm going back to the past, and until next time, I'll see you in the future.